What's up guys, the Lazy Goldmaker here. Today we're going to cover something that you may have clicked into inadvertently if you're using CraftSim, the add-on. Maybe you've clicked into HSV consideration, maybe you haven't. This is a mechanic that's very, very impactful. HSV, what does it mean? It's hidden skill value. So this is something that we essentially completely lost. Well, we didn't lose, but the people didn't actually pay that much attention to this. And it was announced, or rather explained a little bit, all the way back in the first Wowhead post, or the first Blizzard post on the crafting changes. Essentially, they mentioned that there's going to be a small chance to get some extra amount of skill, which represents your day-to-day differences in how good you are at crafting a given item. We didn't really pay attention to that ahead of time, but as it turns out, it's actually very, very impactful. It has some huge impact, and how it works in general, it will give you, every time you craft a recipe, you can get up to 5% of the recipe difficulty in extra skill. And it's uniformly distributed, or you have an equal chance of getting every amount of extra skill in between 5% and your current skill. So that's the case. That's a uniform distribution for those of you who care about maths. For those of you who you don't really need to care much about the distribution. I'm going to show you the math and give you some calculators, and you can just figure out what your actual max quality rate is, which is the only thing that really matters in terms of gold making. But what this means is it has some interesting effects, because it means that it's possible to lower your recipe cost, go for cheaper materials and craft an item, and you can still reach the max quality threshold way more often than your inspiration rate would suggest, which is very, very useful. And you can use this to massively increase the inspiration rate, or the effective max quality rate. So if you have enough nodes, you can reach the point where you will get some extra procs with the hidden skill value for quality 4, or for the devotion weapon and chance. It's possible to get hidden skill value if you have all of the extra skill nodes. I don't, so I'm at 327, but you can get this to 405 or 404, 405, which is going to give you enough to actually get extra procs from hidden skill value. So it can be pretty important, and I've used it in an item group that I'm showing here, which has been very, very useful. The buzzing runes, the howling runes, these are, I can guarantee max quality if I swap to the max quality chilled runes, but if you look at the market value, they're typically double in price compared to the quality 2 runes, or the quality 2 chilled runes. And with the quality 2 chilled runes, I'm at 294 skill, so I'm just missing 6 skill, which is significantly less than 5%. Which means that my actual quality 3 rank rate is very, very high. We could take a look at, I think that we should have some old data here. No, we don't. Okay, so it resets when you reload. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to show you the exact math for how much extra inspiration I have, but I do have extra inspiration. My rate, we can actually calculate it. I'm going to show you the little calculator I made right away. Here's the calculator. 294, and I think I have 24. No, it was 23% inspiration. So with these stats, we can see that I'm getting a quality 3 70% of the time, which is pretty high. So yeah, that's it. And then on top of that, we obviously have multi-craft and resourcefulness, which is going to help bring in the profit. But that means that it's very, very profitable, and that's the case for many different recipes. So this calculator I just showed you, I think this one's going to be pretty useful, particularly for any of you who are doing inspiration crafts, or you're selling crafting orders. Now you can calculate your actual quality 3 rank. So for instance, gem crafting is another one. If you're doing the limited diamond type gems, then that's definitely another item type where this comes into play. And you can get, maybe you have 375 skill, and you have something like 366 skill and 375 recipe difficulty. And we can see here, if you manage to push your inspiration to 30%, then you're looking at actually a 66% chance of getting a max quality, which you can advertise and get crafting orders. So that's pretty useful. Now I also wanted to show you guys some graphs showing essentially So the first one here is just showing for recipe difficulties of 425, 400, and 300, how much your chance of getting a max quality item varies in terms of based on how much little skill you're missing. So we can see that roughly you need to be missing half the skill, or half of 5%. So if the recipe difficulty is 400, if you're missing 10 skill, then you're gonna get a 50% hidden skill value max quality proc rate. That's what the uniform distribution means. You can also see that it's a completely linear graph. There's no like specific breakpoints. More skill is better. But obviously the first ones are getting into hidden skill value territory at all is going to be most impactful, because maybe you're looking at something like 35% inspiration. If you can get 20% chance of getting quality 3 from your hidden skill value, that's going to be very, very impactful. And we're going to take a look at that next, and that's how this graph looks if we just focus on recipe difficulty 400 and we add lines for 15%, 25%, 35%, and 0% inspiration, respectively, and we see how the total rate varies. So obviously, if you just get within 15 points of getting to the recipe difficulty level, and you have 35% inspiration, that's going to put you at effective inspiration or effective max quality rate of 50% of crafts. And yeah, I mean, that's going to mean that anyone who isn't in hidden skill value range is going to be completely unable to compete with you. Completely unable. So I think this is going to be huge for enchanting in 10.1, because a lot of people are going to be hitting the hidden skill value thresholds if you have the optimized build and you use the elemental shatter. Because there are a lot of extra skill nodes in these like very inefficient things here. You can get 5 skill, 5 skill, 5 skill, 10 skill. So there's still a lot of enchanting skill being unlocked, which means that people will be making it to the point where they're going to be crafting devotions with hidden skill value procs and effective proc rates of quality 3 of like 60, 70, 80%. People are already capable of doing this, by the way, for enchanting, and it's just going to be worse. But this means that if you can get your skill high enough, typically within 20 for recipe difficulty 400 or above, you need to be within 20 of the recipe difficulty, then you're going to be getting more max quality procs, and you can advertise for that. If you're selling crafting orders, you can use that in your profit calculations. CraftSim does take it into account by default, by the way, so you don't need to do anything massive there. But it's a huge deal. It's going to have a huge effect on how much gold you can make, and you need to be aware of it. So yeah, if there's anything I missed in this explanation, this raises some huge massive questions, let me know in the comments, and we can cover those as well. Thanks for watching.